some really exciting things. Welcome to the martial arts of selling, and this is part four. I thought it was five parts, but it's actually six parts. So forgive me because I added another part to it. But part number four is really the beginning and the end. Was the beginning of you becoming a better, more effective agent, and the end of being that mediocre agent or whatever level you were at, you're changing. So you're letting that go and you're transforming into becoming a more than an agent. Now, part number four is what I call the methodology to producing more sales. And no matter what you're selling, in this case, it's for sale by owners, right? It's about getting the listing on the property. Because when you get the listing, you control the game to a degree, right? Because now you listed on MLS and you got a lot more agents that have investors and buyers that are looking at that one particular property, right? If you have the right property. So it's not just getting a listing, it's about getting the right listing, right? Now again, I'm going to be clear as a disclaimer, I'm not an agent. I'm thinking about doing it, but I never really needed to be one because I train agents to become more than agents. So I tell people in El Paso, if I become an agent, I'm going to get a lot of agents out of business because I'm really good at what I do. And I know how to deal with for sale by owner because I'm an investor. So I deal with them all the time. And then I used to, dealing the way I work. Okay. So now part number four is what I call the O.B.C. Excuse me for 1 second while I'm looking at my other screen. Okay. It's basically the O.B.C, the opening, the body, and the close of every selling process or every deal. It doesn't change. You may not have heard of this. You may have heard of it. The movie industry does this. The top marketing echelon companies do it. These global corporations do it. That's how they manipulate people. It's called the opening, the body, and the close. So I want to prepare you because part 5 and 6 has to do with objections and rebuttals and the script. And these 3 steps that I'm going to share with you is implemented in the script. Okay. Now, the opening of any initial contact is the most important aspect of it. And for those of you who don't believe cold calling is good or it works, let me educate you real quick. Everything you do, everything you start, no matter what it is, starts cold. You're probably saying, really? How's that? Well, when you go to a network event and you don't know most of the people there and you want to engage people, it's cold, right? You either going to take the initial action and introduce yourself or someone's going to introduce themselves to you. Either way, if you never knew these people and you never met them until that day, it started cold, right? When you're going to, let's say, a party, and let's say you know a couple of people there, but there's other people you don't know, but you want to engage them. You start off cold. Everything we do in life starts cold. We warm it up, we get it hot, but we have to take action. Here's another example. When I was growing up, it was different than the way it is now. But back then, when I was growing up, getting a telephone number from a girl or woman was a huge accomplishment. Now it's nothing. Now, asking for a date was terrifying for most men, not for me. I was still a nerd, but the fact is, you didn't want to get rejected. But you started off cold and you took the initiative. And she said yes. And you went on a date, right? So when you start a career or you start to become a real estate agent, and let's say you don't know anything about it, well, now you start to study, right? But you didn't know anything about real estate. It was cold. You knew nothing about it. Does that make sense? So you have to understand that everything you do starts off cold. And how you start it off is going to determine what kind of relationship you're going to build from there. And so the number one, or the opening, is you always have a perceived value, right? We all, when we meet someone, and someone meets you, we all have a perceived value of the people we meet because we don't know them. We can only have a perceived value based upon what they say and what they do, right? So here's the three things you have to know and understand really, really clearly when you do the initial call or email or text, however you do it. These are three things that you will be doing. Number one is you'll be setting the tone for the relationship. Because me, I tell my people that I train, when you take the action, you got to set the tone. You better know your audience. You better be prepared, and you can't have an attitude. You have to set the tone. Why? Because if the way you set the tone is the perceived value they're going to have of you. So if you want to set a different tone for a sale by owner, shouldn't you show them a certain perceived value so you could set the right tone with them? Does that make sense? So by setting the tone, you're setting the tone for the future relationship because of the action you took. Now, number two is you got to show what your value really is. What is your value as an agent? I ask some of my clients, what is it that you do? They're flabbergasted. Well, I'm an agent. What does that mean? Anybody can ask me what I do, and I have 5 words or less to answer. I solve sales problems, period. I added the word period to emphasize it. But that's what I do. I'm describing what I do. And that's why I say how to become more than an agent. The for sale by owner has to know when you're on the phone with them and you're trying to earn their business, they know and they feel and they see and they can taste that you are the solution to their problem. You are the person that could probably sell this property for them because you set the tone. You show good, powerful, perceived value. Then what must you do? Number three. For me, for example, when I cold call, I know this 3 to 5 seconds to earn their business. And what I mean by earn their business in 3 to 5 seconds. Well, the first thing you have to do in number three is you have to earn trust. Because without trust, you can't build nothing. You just can't. You could, but it'll be destroyed. So you have to earn trust. You have to develop respect. People like to say earn respect, and you could do that too. I like to develop respect by giving respect, and then I earn respect. I get it back. And then you have to give value. So I have to do those three things within a 3 to 5 second initial call. It's not easy. It's easy now because I've established who I am, how I do it, and I know how to do it. So the opening is the most important. And what you do is three things. You set the tone for the relationship. You show a powerful and incredible perceived value. And then you earn trust. You develop respect. And you give, offer, and share your true value. That's the opening. Now, why is that important? Because now you transition to step number two, which is the body. And let me give you an example. The opening is like a movie trailer. Back in the day, when I produced movies before the internet, the key to getting people to the movie theater is the trailer. And it was like 30 seconds to a minute max. That's the hook. You got to get people on a mass scale to be excited when that movie comes so they can go there and get emotionally involved, right? That's the opening. But when you get to the movie theater, now you expect something to happen. What is it that you expect to happen? What does the for sale by owner expect to happen when they're in step number two, the body? The body is you you should be increasing your value. I call it intrinsic value. So in the beginning, you have perceived, and hopefully, as you get the relationship going, you start to increase your value. And let me give you an example. Again, back to my old days. You ask a woman out, you go out on a date, right? Now you're excited, and hopefully she's excited to go with you on a second date because you started to peel your onion. You started to show who you were. You hopefully increased your value enough on that first date that she's excited to have a second date and a third date. That was important. Getting the date is one thing. Getting me to or getting you to go to a movie theater is one thing. Now that I'm there, I better be fulfilled. I better get satisfied. The for sale by owner, after giving in, you better do your thing. Does that make sense? So what should you accomplish in the body of the selling presentation or the sales presentation? However I call it selling presentation because it's the process to the sale, but you know it as sales presentation. I call it a phone call, right? So what's the body? You got to increase your value. It's intrinsic. But four things that happen in this part of the storytelling. Number one is you have to tell a powerful story. And telling a story involves a lot of different elements. Asking questions, how you ask the question, doing rebuttals in a very powerful way. Them asking you questions and you dealing with it, you understanding the language in the industry and how you get them to get emotional, logical, even keel. That's storytelling. Storytelling, 90% of sales or selling is storytelling. Think about musicians and top-notch salespeople. They have a lot of commonalities. They take words, create emotion, get you to take action, get you emotionally involved. Either they make you cry, they make you sad, make you happy, make you want to dance, right? That's storytelling. And we all live our life by hearing stories. When you listen to an audio podcast, you're listening to a story. Somebody's telling you something. They're telling you about the experiences, whether it's politics or not, right? Still a story. Second thing you should be accomplishing in the body of the selling is you should be increasing your value throughout the body of the sales. Increasing your value. There's a lot of ways to do that. Okay. Number three is, and this is just my experience. Just, you may have different experience. About 90% of the deals happen in the body, at least for me. I know that once I get into the storytelling, I have a high conversion ratio. If I do a full presentation through cold calling to 10 people, I will close 6 of them on the first call. So call it one call close. No doubt about that. And I got to get the full presentation. It can't be like 3/4. If I do a full presentation, I will get 6 out of 10 on the first call. So 90% of the sales usually happen in the body. And then number 4 is you get the prospect. Here's the important part. You get the prospect. I don't like to use the word leads because lead is an insult to people. Because lead is just a name and a number. To me, I'm targeting prospect. But you get the prospect to buy into what? The relationship. Because you see, selling is what I do. Solving sales problems is what I do. Being an entrepreneur is what I do. Being a salesperson is what I am. Being a business owner is what I am. However, building profitable relationship is my main focus. Not the sale, not the money, the relationship. Because if I do it right and I have a relationship, the relationship converts into money. And then everybody wins. But I got to get the prospect. You, as the agent, have to get the prospect, the for sale by owner, to buy into the relationship between you and them. That's it. That's how that works. Does that make sense? Now, number three is the close. For me, the close happens in the open because when you target the right for sale by owners and you really understand where their mindset is, then you really already closed. But just for argument's sake, simplicity purposes, the close, I like to call it win-win relationship or win-win situation. A lot of people use that as cliche where somebody, you say win-win-win-win relationship, but most people wind up losing. If two people are winning and one is losing, then it's not a real win situation for me. If my clients are not producing sales and I'm getting paid, that's not a win-win. I don't like that. So number three, the close is really the beginning of the selling. Really, it is because now you're involved. So that's where the real value. Number one is you start to have real value for your prospect, for your for sale by owner. They saw real value in you that they gave you the listing. And here's the thing: is the way I train my students and clients is a high percent of them, or high percent of the for sale by owners usually agrees to a contract before they even go meet with them. Okay, that's amazing. So number two is it's a win-win relationship after the real value. And number three is the prospect takes ownership of services and or products. So if you're providing a product, they buy the product. If it's a service, then they're buying into your services. Because here's why. If they don't buy into the relationship in the body, they're not going to buy you. They're not going to buy your services. They have to buy into the relationship first so that the services come with you. But for me, I am the service. I'm the commodity. What is my service? I'm a sales trainer. I'm a sales coach. I produce sales. My company produces sales. I solve your sales problem. That's my services, right? I can't lose. Neither can my clients. And then number four, here's the key. The prospect or the for sale by owner visualizes and can see and can feel and can touch and taste the solution that you're going to provide them, which is what? Getting an investor or getting a buyer to get them into escrow so that the deal could fund, right? That's what they visualize. That's the close. That's the close. That makes sense? So anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful. This was part 4 of a part 6 series called How to Become More Than a Real Estate Agent. I hope this was helpful. If you like this video, do me a favor, smash the like button. Do share your comments because it does help the algorithm with YouTube. And also hit that subscription button below. And if you believe this video can help other agents, do me a favor, share it with them. And until we speak again, I say goodbye. This is Paul Cruz with Martial Arts of Selling on how to become more than a real estate agent. See you in part number 5.